Good morning, sixth graders, and welcome to our lesson on central idea. Make sure you're flipped to this page that I'm on the screen right here, where it says annotating the text. Sorry, I'm going to make it bigger for you. Okay, so here's the thing. Do you ever read and sort of zone out and then find out that a few paragraphs have gone by and you can't quite remember what you just read? There's a strategy for fixing that. It's called annotating for the central idea. The central idea is, write this down right underneath here, a one-sentence summary of what the text is mostly about. So it's kind of like an objective summary, like how but the difference is an objective summary is like 3 to 5 sentences. A central idea is even quicker. It's just a one sentence always. Another thing that's good to know when you're thinking about the central idea is that sometimes if you're taking a test, right, and you're asked a question about something, or not even a test, I ask you something in class, and you're trying to go back and think, where's the part in the text where this happened? Instead of having to scan through the whole text, you can have your central ideas written in after every paragraph or so. So for example, follow along. This is right on your paper. What had he read or seen that told him about food in the wilderness? Hadn't there been something? A show. Yes, a show on television about Air Force pilots and some kind of course they took. A survival course. All right, he had the show coming into his thoughts now. The pilots had to live in a desert. They put them in the desert down in Arizona or someplace, and they had to live for a week. They had to find food and water for a week. So I'm going to stop and jot the central idea that you can go ahead and write this down on your paper. This paragraph is about Brian trying to remember a survival show he saw once. Okay, just a quick summary of what you just saw. Go ahead and write that down and then unpause the video. So now flip to this page. It's just the next page. It says exemplars of central idea annotations. I'm going to take you through a couple more exemplars before I tell you what your task is. Remember, this is just a strategy I want you guys to use while you read so that you never zone out and you kind of know you stop every few paragraphs and know where you're at. And then also you can go back later to answer important questions without having to scan through the whole text to find it. So follow along. The pilot was having a heart attack, and even as the knowledge came to Brian, he saw the pilot slam into the seat one more time. One more awful time, he slammed back into the seat and his right leg jerked, pulling the plane to the side in a sudden twist, and his head fell forward and spit came. Spit came from the corners of his mouth, and his legs contracted up into the seat, and his eyes rolled back in his head until there was only white. Only white for his eyes, and the smell became worse. So if you look at your paper, it's not here on my screen, at this excerpt from chapter 1, you'll see that the person annotated in this paragraph, the pilot is having a heart attack. Okay, it's easier to go back and find just a one-sentence summary of what it is. But as you look through paragraphs 2 and 4, even just looking at them, it would be sort of silly if look at paragraph 3. You couldn't really just write a central idea about that, and that's okay. But if you look at what the person did on their paper, paragraphs 2 through 4 are kind of all about the same thing. It's Brian here reacting and seeing what happens. So this person just put, it's his reactions and his feelings to seeing the heart attack. So this person just sort of drew a bracket from 2 to 4 and wrote, in these 3 paragraphs, we see Brian's scared reaction to the heart attack. So look at how that person in your packet marked up their page with a few central ideas every paragraph or 2 or 3. It's a great strategy. We're going to look at one more. Terry at first turned to smile at him about something, and Brian looked over Terry's head and saw her, his mother. She was sitting in a station wagon, a strange wagon. He saw her, and she did not see him. Brian was going to wave or call out, but something stopped him. There was a man in the car. Short blonde hair the man had, wearing some kind of white pullover tennis shirt. So this person annotated just by saying, Brian sees his mom cheating for the first time. In the central idea, you don't have to say, Brian sees his mom with a man who has blonde hair, wearing a white pullover tennis shirt. Those are details you don't need in your central idea. But what is it mostly about in one sentence? This is a moment in his inner dialogue where we see his mom. Brian sees his mom cheating for the first time. So what you're going to do today for your exit ticket is write an objective summary of Hatchet Chapter 6. So the difference between objective summary and central idea, you can go ahead and jot this down anywhere on your paper, sort of in the margins, is that remember, central idea is one sentence, and we usually use it to mark up our text. And then an objective summary, you actually don't even need to write it down because this rubric right here on the side says all the important parts of an objective summary. It's 3 to 5 sentences. You do not copy anything the author said. And this is a big one, guys. Do not include your own opinion. So it will take points off here if you say Brian is very strong and brave and tough, because that's your opinion. I know we've been analyzing his character a lot, but those analyses do not belong in an objective summary. And then lastly, it has to include all big ideas and events, the 5 W's and big ideas. So that's why now, if you are ready, here are your 2 tasks. Pick up chapter 6. You have chapter 6 with you. Go ahead and annotate it for the central idea. Again, it doesn't have to be every paragraph, maybe every few paragraphs. Also, as you read, make sure you're filling in your graphic organizer. Sorry, not this. Here, your graphic organizer that I also included in your packet. This is at the top of your packet with chapter 6. Lastly, once you finish that graphic organizer and finish the chapter, you'll be ready to complete your exit ticket. You probably won't finish this today because you have to read the sentence, read the chapter, do the central ideas, and build your graphic organizer for your objective summary, so that is okay. I'm going to type out your task right now. I will pause the video and leave it on the screen to make sure you're doing everything in the right order. I'll go ahead and leave this on your screen, maybe pause the video right here so you know that these are the 3 tasks that you have to be completing right here.